He opened a can of dog food but poured only a tiny bit into the dog bowl. Looking at the meager amount of food in the bowl, the dog was puzzled. But as soon as it looked up, it saw its owner merely licking the dog food stuck to the spoon. Then he put the entire can back into the refrigerator. Staring at the few remaining cans inside, the man swallowed hard, his stomach growling with hunger. But in the end, he closed the refrigerator, and during the hunger, he drank some tap water to fill his stomach. Only then did the dog realize it had misunderstood its owner. It turned out that in the future world, an extremely rare solar flare had completely destroyed the Earth's ozone layer. Under the intense ultraviolet radiation, the daytime temperature soared to over 60 degrees Celsius, and surface life was nearly extinct. Fortunately, Finch had taken refuge in an abandoned factory and barely escaped this catastrophe. For the past 13 years, the only companion he had was this dog named Pete. Every day, Finch risked his life to find food. Although the ultraviolet protection suit weighing over 80 pounds provided some insulation, it was still as stuffy as a small furnace inside, and his body temperature reached 38 degrees Celsius. The situation was extremely dangerous, and he had to find a place to rest. Then Finch walked into a dilapidated supermarket. The shelves were long empty, and dehydrated corpses lay scattered on the ground, a sight he was already accustomed to. Fortunately, every cloud has a silver lining. His search was not entirely fruitless. He found a can of dog food in the pet supplies section. Even this small gain made him beam with joy. Immediately after, he left the supermarket and used paint to leave a mark on the wall indicating that the supermarket had no more supplies to scavenge. Next, Finch drove his RV on the deserted streets. The prosperity of the past had become a fleeting memory. He took out a map that recorded all the supply points in Street Louis. For 15 years, his footsteps had covered every street and alley of the city. Although Finch had developed a deep affection for this city, he had to leave in order to survive. Just as Finch was contemplating where to go, the machine suddenly warned that the air pressure was dropping rapidly. Finch looked intently and saw a huge sandstorm in the distance heading towards him. Finch quickly reversed the RV and drove like mad towards the abandoned factory. He rushed into the base in the last second before the sandstorm hit. Once again, he had narrowly escaped death. Due to 2 years of solar radiation exposure, Finch had already contracted a terminal illness. Now, his biggest worry was Pete, the little dog that had been with him for many years. Finch would give Pete the best food he could find, while he himself could only drink tap water to satisfy his hunger. Seeing that the stored food was running out, Finch was also very anxious. He could only place all his hopes on this artificial intelligence. Every day, Finch would place all kinds of books in a specific location. iRobotic arm would automatically cut them into pieces and then feed them page by page into the machine for scanning. Finally, they would all be stuffed into the artificial intelligence's brain. In order to make it think like a human, Finch had spent several years making it swallow tens of thousands of books. With the data completed, the artificial intelligence was now missing one crucial thing: eyes. Due to the urgency of time, Finch could only look at the mechanical dog that had been with him for over a decade. He decided to take the mechanical dog's eyes, although he was reluctant to part with them. But now, for survival, there was no other choice.